So the next step is we're going to switch this over to hydroponics as soon as this is done, which is almost done. And then we're going to get the clothing order set up, and then we're going to finish the chain shotgun tunnel down at the bottom. I guess I could set some of this stuff up in unison. So let's go ahead and start setting this one up. Go ahead and get that lined out there. Come on, Torgman, work faster. What kind of 5-year-old can't mine through solid rock in seconds? What kind of dwarf are you, Torgman? Sorry, it's just tough love for the dwarf children, you know? So make sure they grow up strong and proud and bearded. Okay, marine armor is done. Are we done with research? Until we get until we get an apocryton for the atomizer or we get cataphract armor, I think we're done with research right now. All right, excellent. Turn those off. It's our first Manhunter pack in quite a while. This will be good because we can kind of get an idea of how many raid points we're getting hit with right now before a raid comes. Okay, let's select everyone. We're going to draft them and see if they can get out. They can't, so we're safe. All right. 36 polar bears. We're a little over halfway to raid cap. So 7,500-ish, yeah, so a little over halfway to cap. Well, actually more over half than I thought. Wow. Geronio. Kind of got wrecked. Got the third geyser for the base. The problem with this one is it will be destroyed by breachers more often. So if I want to grab the third one, I would probably have to run it up the right side and then connect back across. It might still be worth it, but most breach raids are coming around this corner, and so it's going to get destroyed quite a bit by breaches. So I don't know. All right, we're ready to fix this here. Would you choose fast learner or tough? I would choose tough pretty much every time in my playthroughs and my play style. Tough is above all the others by a bit. How do mechs act during solar flares? Solar flares are one of the shortest events in the game. You don't really have to worry about it. So we had solar flares during my Mechanitor run that I just finished. Solar flares, I think at most last like half a day. So it just seems like you don't really have to worry about it. It never became a problem for me. We had solar flares. I had 69 bandwidth. 69 bandwidth, solar flares. Wasn't a big deal. I think what is it by default? It takes them 10 hours. Nice. I think it takes them 10 hours to like go rogue or whatever. And it's pretty rare for a solar flare to last more than 10 hours. It's 24 to go completely rogue. Yeah, then you shouldn't have to worry. Now an EMI event. So the first timer is 10, the total is 24, and an EMI event, that's what you really have to worry about. 24 is the actual rogue part. Yeah. Because when we did the ship launch, some of them were like not obeying anymore, but they weren't attacking. So they like disconnected, but they were just kind of wandering around blinking, and it had a timer on it for like 10 more hours or something. So 24 hours until they actually turn against you, I guess. Can a solar flare hit while a raid is active? It absolutely can, yep. Yep. I remember, so one of the things about that too is if you have a sapper raid and you're using turrets to make it so sappers come in where you want them to, and a solar flare happens, it can reroute the sappers in a way that you don't want them to come in. I've had a lot of experience with that, so yeah, they can. All right, let's get our clothing rules set up. So we're going to go into assign and manage outfits. New outfit. We're going to make a ranged outfit. So for ranged, we want to wear, we're going to put it at 51 or better, normal or better. On utility, we're going to turn off shield belts. Going to turn off headgear, lead armor on. Armor has its own headgear slot, so noble apparel, I will deal with myself. You can wear capes though. And miscellaneous, button down, duster, pants. Button down, duster, pants, cape, and armor. Okay. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to go ahead and set... Some people are going to get naked real fast. So who's our melee? A Vig and Sloth. So let's move them to the front. Vig and Sloth. So we're going to put ranged on all these right down so we'll get to the children, which starts at goats. Okay. Then I'm going to go back in. Manage outfits. I'm going to make a melee outfit. So melee. So the reason I do melee and ranged is so that I can make sure that ranged people aren't accidentally picking up shield belts while their gun is on the ground. It really gets annoying, like when they drop their gun for something, like they're sick, and then when they're better, they run and put a shield belt on. So, and this also makes it so they're not going to be wearing tattered clothing, which is obviously awesome as well. All right, so headgear off, armor on, utility. Return utility off aside from shield belt, so we're going to have shield belt on. Noble, we're going to turn that off aside from capes. Duster, pants. Optimal clothing set for a pawn before recon armor. Button-down shirt, pants, and either duster or a cape. Duster and cape have the same. So, and then flak vest, obviously. Flak vest plus that combo is in general, overall, usually, depending on quality, better than recon armor. Flak is better than recon.
Welcome back.
Depending on quality, flak, you can test it. Basically, if you've noticed, if you have a duster button down flak vest combo and you have a recon armor laying around, your pawns are apt to go put on the highest armor value, the most protective thing that they can get to that is allowable by them. You'll notice that they won't put on the recon armor. So depending on the quality of both sets, recon armor versus the normal clothing, it's usually better than recon armor. So I highly suggest, unless you just get recon armor dropping or something like that, or you can just buy it or whatever, I wouldn't waste too much material on making it. I would just skip and go to the next tier where it starts getting way better at marine armor. Fast learner, too smart. Man, we really got to get that. I'm not saying this, Smurf, if you're there. I'm not saying this against you or anything, obviously. We got to get that traits guide out, my friend. It's a really big thing with these children. If you need any more help on it, let me know. But, so Cobra, you don't need too smart with fast learner. It gets kind of crazy, but too smart does have a pretty big, basically mood hit, breakdown hit. So it depends on what your other choices are. What are the other choices you're getting offered? All right, we can go out there and get some shooting experience, although there is going to be some scaria. So some rot stink immediately as well. But we might as well go grab some shooting experience here. And now we need to open that. So Lumberjack, go ahead and open that. Is quality of those bedrooms good enough for them to be happy with it? Yep, they have a +3 mood buff from those. Those are impressive bedrooms. Yep, here, I'll show you. 59 quality, +3 mood buff. Yeah, no problem. And they don't care about them being in the tight spaces because they're tunnelers. Not that they're going to be in there for very long anywhere, but... Did they nerf barracks? No, they did not. Barracks are still stronger overall than bedrooms, I feel. Like, a barracks right now, I could have just this size, and I could have it giving +4 mood with just this size to everyone, and still be able to cram more dwarves in there, so... And let's take a look here. We got who's living in the actual barracks? Vat. Baba Vat is living in the barracks. There you go. He's almost full of mood. Here's someone with an impressive bedroom. Same mood. So Collins, just a barricade on your kill box entrance. So this is just a leftover old setup, which I'm gonna destroy. I'm gonna destroy so it's not nasty anymore. Nothing against you, of course. It's gone. It's gone. The priceless columns from when the dwarves were new, when they had just first made this their mountain home, they're gone. Hope you're proud of yourself. No. Go back to making actual kitchens and bedrooms after a nutrient paste and barracks. Yeah, barracks is so strong. I have to force myself not to use it. Even this run, once we started getting into the teens, I was like, maybe I'll just go back to the barracks, but I'm forcing myself not to. Forcing myself not to in this run. Why? Just for fun. Just for fun. Okay. Move that up. Which change in the recent DLC has been the hardest to adapt to? I guess the hardest thing to adapt to, but is also one of the things I like the most about Biotech, is the fact that all the raids, even different humanoid raids, you sometimes now need different strategies, especially early to mid game, depending on what spawns. So like, especially in early to mid, another manhunter. What the crap? It's annoying. So like early mid game, let's say you get an all impid raid, you have to deal with them a little bit differently. You get an all Neanderthal raid, you're gonna have to deal with them very differently. Even with mechs now, mechs have more variety. So with the mechs, like you have to see what all kinds of mechs are coming out of all the new kinds, and then determine like what's my best course of action to defend against this. So that's actually one of my favorite parts of it. But it's also definitely one that you have to get used to. The rhinos are here. Yeah, and another thing too, like even expanding on that further with animals, like right now, because Scarion losing his fun is an 82% chance, right? And Rot Stink is a thing as of 1.4. So Scaria animals now, instead of just like melee blocking and killing them, if I do that, we're gonna get a whole lot of Rot Lung suddenly, you know? So more things I have to be careful of as far as combat consideration. Another thing on that is that's hard to get used to is how much food is needed with the genes being altered. Like I already have this that I've been using for like years in my head of exactly how many crops and which kind of soil for how many colonists you have, and so now that's kind of thrown out. You know, that's just gone because it's very, very different now. The look on my face during the first Impid raid when I first saw their flamethrower, yeah. What's with the massive rhinos? It's a manhunter attack event. Are the rhinos for war? Yes, they're waging war against us. Hey, while these are here, let's just go to a festival. We still got some rhinos from the end of stream yesterday, but that's all right. And let's grab some shooting experience here. Some of our dwarves did grow up yesterday, so we got a few more adult dwarves. So our shooting, yeah, look at that. Our shooting is getting better and better. Well, I mean, that's our core team there. There's the one. They already have good shooting, so I guess that wasn't a fair assessment, but all right, let's take a look at Cassandra here. It looks like, oh yeah, we got double manhunter, which was kind of weird. Cassandra, I mean, she's just been Cassandra. I was gonna say she's been kind of weird, but it's not too weird. Look at that, Flamebow. Flamebow is new. I haven't tried using it yet. I wish you could make a Flamebow. It doesn't seem like you shouldn't be able to, but you can't. I'm sure though there will be mods for that if there isn't already. 3 amazing DLCs, including religion, genetics, and families, but they still didn't sort wall lamps. That's right. No wall lamps, no windows. All right. So we are working on some more baby vat dwarfs. We're getting our components going here. So we're going to get our biofuel moved over. I'm going to get another fabrication bench. We are super overproducing mushrooms because vats really eat mushrooms like crazy. We actually ran out of food yesterday, but we are good now. Yeah, we're not doing any more research just yet. So what do we need for this? 3 components, 150 steel. We're out of steel. So we have started doing our mineral scanner, but it is pretty slow going. We have found some steel over here though, so let's go ahead and get that queued up. Yeah, we're getting pretty heavy into raid points now. I think we were up to about 7,000 to 7,500 raid points yesterday, which are pretty big raids. So right now we are working on getting into hydroponics so that we can more easily make our beer and our medicine without having to run outside and plant stuff outside. I was just planting it in fungal gravel with sun lamps, but it's not very efficient at all. Very, very slow going. But hops is actually pretty good in rich soil and in hydroponics. Has 70% fertility sensitivity, so really takes advantage of that fertile soil. Pretty nice. Which ponds were raised out of vats? So let's see, that are full grown now. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Anzer was raised outside of it, but they are a baseliner. Rainman, Hash Monkey, Muzz, Lumberjack, and Pfeiffer were all raised well. They were raised as children. They were taught as children. Popsin and Baba were vat children all the way till 13. Torgman sucks at mining. He's a child. He's got a 9 and passionate, but he's a child, so he has a reduced speed. So, I explained the bait room yet? A little bit, yeah. I can go into more detail. Forage, especially. Let's see if infestation spawns. I kind of hope one spawns. Where's the Dark Ascension Sun Alert come from? So there's 2 things for it, Kilobit. One, there is a public one that anyone can get called Ancestral Bestowment. And second, in 2019 for my birthday, a bunch of people in the stream got together unbeknownst to me and they hired Wayne June. Wayne June came to the channel. He hung out at the channel. He did some research. He made voice lines for me. He sent me an email. He followed me on Twitter. He sent me a birthday greeting type thing. And he sent me a bunch of custom lines for the channel that represented the channel. So I have some custom ones from Wayne June as a birthday present from some of the fine people in chat. And the other ones are just public ones that anyone can use called Ancestral Bestowment if you want to Google it. Yeah, the Wayne June birthday present is like one of the nicest things that's ever happened in my entire life. Like it's really crazy. That one out of here. I kind of want that there, honestly. So that we can still melee block and have shooters for the bugs there. That means moving all these shelves. Ugh. There needs to be a like mass shelf move button now. Good enough for now. How am I liking the playthrough? It's been fun. Yeah, it's been fun. I'm really looking forward to trying out this new minigun setup that we're going to be doing. Should be really fun to see at least. All right. It looks all right. I might eventually put a door there, so I'll put that away from the wall. All right, good enough. I think we can melee block bugs there if they spawn. All right, so we got quite a bit of steel brought in. So let's go ahead and finish out the hydroponic farm here. Oh, we actually scanned some steel and it's really far away. All right, cool. Excellent. All right, so we are going to let this bottom half be cotton for now. We're going to set these for heel root. And the top is going to be hops for now. Hops. What is the non-dwarf surrounding debuff? That's from ideology. So if we don't have, if they're anywhere where we don't have like something of their style, let's say even a column, an art piece, special flooring, whatever, furniture that isn't their ideology style, they get a mood hit. But I haven't started worrying about that over here because I don't want the extra wealth from it. So annoying problem last night. No longer possible to put a single item on a shelf. No, it is not, which is annoying. So Neff, I ran into that in my first biotech run. I wish you could outlaw or like make a shelf a single spot if you wanted to with a setting, because I ran into that on mine too, where I wanted one Molotov on the left side of the base and one on the right side. And so I couldn't use shelves like I usually do, or usually would. So I ended up using just a very small one tile room with the, Molotov set on each of them. So you switch to biphasic for biotech and it's so good. It's so crazy good. It's still mind-blowing how often I get comments on YouTube on the scheduling guide telling me it doesn't work, and that's terrible. It's like, all right. I started using the biphasic, triphasic, and quadphasic stuff on the tiny map run about four years ago. Naps are awesome. That's true. That's true. It works, but production goes down. Production goes down by only 20%, but it's not just the mood increase. Not only do you get all the mood increase, you get so many inspirations. Just all the freaking time. So you're not going to have to worry about anyone breaking down pretty much ever. Like you can literally have someone's entire family dead and a psychic drone and they won't break down. And you get inspirations all the time. And what does it cost you? 20% production at the most, really, which can be offset by other ways too, of course. But does it work in real life? It does, because it's a nap. So hang on, I won't go over the whole thing because it's in the guide. But let me explain something about it. All right, let me show you. This doesn't mean they sleep 4 hours. This does not mean they sleep 4 hours. What it means is they will sleep until they're no longer tired. So if they have this sleep, they'll sleep as long as they need because there's anything. So in this first sleep, they sleep as long as they need to when they're not tired. Then when it gets here, if they're not tired, like if they had, let's see, a quick sleeper, they won't go to sleep. And if they only need 2 hours of sleep, they'll only sleep 2 and they'll get up. What happens if they don't need sleep, these sleep schedules turn into anything blocks. So don't look at this as in a second time. It's basically a nap. It says take a nap for as long as you need to make sure your mood and comfort and sleep cap back out. That's all that is. You could put things to sleep here. You could put 8 and it would work the exact same, because it's not forced. It's if you need to top it up, go do it. So a lot of people look at it and it's like, oh my God, you're forcing them to sleep for 4 more hours right in the middle of it. It's not. It's sleep if you need to for as long as you need to cap back off, which sometimes is 4 hours. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, but it's literally just napping in the middle of the day. So there's so many people that nap in the afternoon and things like that. For child learning, I've been setting children to anything. I've been setting children a lot of times just all anything, and that seemed good for their learning. A little on the nose that I literally got another inspiration while showing it. That's how you get so many more inspirations. You wish you had that in real life? You just nap for as long as you need to in the middle of the day? Yeah. Well, don't think about it as middle of the day. A lot of people will nap after school, after work. When I was a teenager and I got home from school, I would almost always just crash on the couch for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever. If you select 2 hours rest, anything after, it's the same. It is the same as long as they don't have more than 2 hours of walk time to get to a bed. Yep. Growth moment for RabidHamsters. Hamsters is 10. He got his max growth tier, which is awesome. Let's see here. He is quick sleeper. Let's go quick sleeper, hard worker, construction, mining. I guess we can lean into what he got. We can just grab, we don't really need more social there. We're not really going to be converting much else either, honestly. Let's just throw it in cooking. We're going to end up making lots of additional drugs. So double passion shooting isn't really needed. He's going to get really high in shooting anyway. I think that's fine. And he still has another growth after this. So what do you recommend for making economy? So it depends on what your colony is good at and what map you're on and that kind of stuff. So things that are really good are valuable things that are light. So like drugs. But if let's say you don't have a lot of good planters or a lot of good cooks or something like that, but you have a lot of good people or a lot of good artists, you can literally make sculptures, make large sculptures, trade those. They trade well. Or let's say you have a lot of people that are good at crafting, at tailoring, make corsets. Corsets are your best bang for your buck, most profit margin. Make corsets and sell them. But there's lots of good things. So basically lean into whatever your colony is good at making. But drugs are kind of basically the best because they're so light. They're so light, so you can haul so many of them out and trade them at a time. So I would say drugs, sculptures, or textiles. All three are very good. Making extra food and stuff like that isn't super great. If you just have extra food, you can just sell it, obviously. But yeah, even improving food and selling it isn't huge amounts. Robes, if you only have ideology. I haven't tested with only ideology. I know if you have all DLCs that corsets are the way to go. If you have just royalty, corsets are the way to go. I'm not sure if you only have ideology. Yeah, and you can make sculptures out of wood, so don't forget that. So out of stone and wood is what I recommend. Goat has reached adulthood. Iron-willed, great memory. Optimist, wow. Goat, very, very good. Good at crafting, good at construction. We're probably going to make him into a production specialist, so we're only going to grab things that aren't going to be disabled as a production specialist. So we're going to grab crafting. We will grab shooting on this one, and I guess we'll just grab social even though we don't really need it. So there we go. Goat, iron-willed, great memory, optimist. He's basically never going to break down. Congrats, Goat, you made it to adulthood without dying. Are circadian half cycles worth it? So the thing about implants like that, Mike, you have to be careful about consciousness. So what I would say is as long as the consciousness hit on the pawn that you're using it on is not going to be screwing you over, then they're great, right? So on some pawns, the circadian half cycle is going to be amazing. And on others, you definitely don't want it because they're going to be not only worse at what they do, but they're going to be downed very easily. What recommendation on mods used for a beginner? I almost always suggest people new to any game, especially RimWorld, play the game on vanilla first, because then you get an idea of what you wish was different and what you would change, and then add mods based on that. So when you play vanilla, if you're like, man, I wish it was easier for me to tell what moods were, well, then go and get color-coded mood bars or something. And then you might be like, I wish it was easier to just see the value of items or something. Go get a mod for that, So for me, I do usually suggest just playing vanilla first, and then because vanilla is an awesome game and experience. You can play thousands of hours with no mods, like I did, or you might just play a few hours and be like, man, I just want this thing to be different, and then you can go change it. But I also run into a lot of people that get tons of mods right off the bat, and that's fine. Play however you want. Tons of mods right off the bat, and they don't remember what is and isn't a mod anymore. So I have people in here all the time that'll like correct me on something, and I'm like, that's not in the game unless it's a mod. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, that is a mod. I didn't even realize that was a mod. So yeah. But again, you know, whatever's fun with you. Everyone is different in what they enjoy. So, but I usually suggest for new players to play with no mods at first, and then just put things in when they figure out kind of what the pressure point is for them that they want to change. All right, Goat, we're going to turn you into a production specialist. So you become a Runesmith. A Dwarven Runesmith. As the ancestor gods intended. P music, that's true. P music right off the bat. I would suggest that one just because it gives you more music, and you know, if you're playing lots of hours, the base RimWorld music is awesome, but just having more awesome RimWorld music to keep your mood high. That's a good one. See what Granny has to say for our next raid here. Granny, what should we keep in mind as Cassandra comes off cooldown?
I can play a mean kazoo.
Thanks, Granny. What a great kazoo. Did you hear that kazoo? That was uncanny. Great kazoo. Some would say the best kazoo ever made. She's been practicing. For letting pollution grow on the world map. If you are within proximity of heavily polluted area, you will get pollution events on your map. Things like basically like toxic fallout, acid rain sort of stuff. Oh, we're actually getting some scans today. That's because we're not researching anymore, so I'm letting them just scan.
Commandment 2548. I'll do anything for money, but I won't do that.
Sky God is a sellout. Sorry, Sky God, so am I. I'm a sellout for my family. Sky sellout. High psychic drone on the female, so we will keep Lily inside and Answer inside. Those two are not actually dwarves. Don't tell anyone, but those two are not dwarves. I know. Torgman got full tier out of that. Trigger happy. Well, out of this, obviously we're going to take Nimble. Nimble. Cooking and plants. And some shooting. All right, Torgman, look at you. Okay. All right. Random name generator in RimWorld's awesome. You have a waster colony, and your kids' names are Rakfaz, Gutscap, Rockdeck, and Rasberg. I really like the Pigman names. The Pigman names. I keep running into a little Pigman boy named Pog. Every time I see Pog, I want to kidnap him. It doesn't matter how terrible he is, but when you see someone run around named Pog, you just want him. Skeeter has reached the age of 10. All right, Skeeter. Skeeter also got full growth here. He's already sanguine. Sanguine quick sleeper. My lord. Children are overpowered, guys. You can just have, as long as you raise children, you get all the growth tiers. Children are just like a god pawn production line. It's just crazy. A bad guys run? Most of my runs are bad guys runs. To be quite honest. He has medical up. There are no good guys in the rim. Are we the baddies? This time we're mostly not bad. We're mostly honorable dwarves. Mostly. You always play good guys? I have a good guy run up on YouTube. That was pretty fun. I mean, it wasn't really fun, but it's complicated. The beggars are begging for 58 beer. Isn't it interesting that all the beggars want beer from us? Hey, there's some steel not super far away. That's nice. We're getting some good scans now that we turn off research, so we have people scanning 24/7. All right. Here we go. Taking that ovum. They were previously peg leg child, yep. All right, here we go. God, R squared. Look at these friggin' quotes, my lord. All right, so Claw's coming in. He's taking Answer's ovum. He throws it on the floor. And then he picks it up beside her hospital bed, fertilizes it. Ew. She's even watching. Terrible. Terrible. All right, put that in the growth vat. We'll see you again in how many days? See you again in 10 days, Answer, for another baby dwarf. Does he fertilize it like a salmon? Oh god, I guess maybe. This is how dwarves are made. How come all these vat babies look just like the Ovum doctor?